the topic. I need to let you know the importance of the positive role of citizens' participation in the budgetary process and effective service delivery in the public sectors of Lagos State, which has come to the fore in recent time. It has also been established that when citizens are engaged, they provide useful information that can improve efficient allocation of resources. Today, as I said earlier, we're discussing something crucial, and it's about the citizens' engagement and participation in budget process. And we have here our heavyweights, Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget. Okay, George, you're welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. I think a good place to start this conversation is for you to tell us, why is it so important for the government to be open to citizens' engagement in the budget process of the state?
Okay, thank you very much, George. So, you know, as a state, fiscal responsibility is key. You know, transparency is key. You know, as you rightly said when we started the interview, you know, we need to ensure that, you know, everything we do is we're accountable for everything we do as a government and as a state. That's one of the things as Lagos State I'm very proud of that we do. We're very transparent. We always make sure we publicize all our figures. Our budget is always online, websites. You know, we have forums where we hear from citizens because it is their budget. You know, we need to ensure that we take into account everything that's needed, what they need, and we then go back. We can't just sit in the office and prepare a budget. It doesn't work that way. We listen to what our citizens want and we go back and we put that in. And you've seen that cascade into all the projects we've done within the last couple of years, you know, which are all as a result of what the citizens have requested, which we then go back and factor into our budgets.
Okay, now that we know why it is important, so how do you now carry citizens along in the budget process?
Okay, thank you. So we have a lot of ways. You know, it's all about consultation, all about hearing back from our citizens. So, you know, as Lagos State, we have a lot of feedback mechanisms. You know, we have citizens' gates, you know, which people can go back and sort of comment on issues they have as citizens of the state. We also have consultative forums which we carry out, you know, during the budgeting process. So when we know we're starting the budgeting process, we go through all the 5 divisions of the state Ibile divisions. We listen to the people, we talk to them, we speak to different groups, you know, the youth, the traditional rulers, you know, the women's groups, you know, and we get back the feedback from what they need, because each division is different. Each division has its peculiarities and its needs. So, you know, we need to ensure that we cater to what would be required in Ekpa is not the same thing that would be required in Ikorodu, for instance. So we need to ensure that we go back and we take the feedback and we go back. And we're accountable because we do this every year. So every year you go back, you then give a feedback of what you asked for last year. This is what we've done. This is where we are. We give an account of where we've gotten to, whatever the challenges are, and then we take the requirements for the next year and go back and plan into our budget for the following year.
Okay. You spoke a lot about feedback. How effective has this feedback been so far?
It's been very effective. You know, I mean, we look across the range of projects we have. You know, currently now we have the Blue Line, which is running. We're carrying close to 10,000 passengers a day. We have close to 4 million Lagosians that have the Cowrie card that go. You can tap on the Cowrie card, so it's an integrated transport system. You can go on the ferries. Mr. Governor recently just launched about 15 ferries. Now, those ferries were locally built in Lagos. There's job opportunities for Lagosians, you know, the multiplier effect on the economy is there, you know. So the feedback, these are all the things that have been coming from various forums, various consultations, knowing what the people require, what the people need. We then go back. In healthcare, we've looked at, obviously, the Massey Street Hospital we're building. There's a recent new renovation of the sickle cell unit in Lasso. So there are lots of things cutting across various industries, various areas that we know that we can go back and say, these are as a result of what citizens have requested, what they want, and then we go back, plug it in. And as I said, you know, we try as much as possible to be responsive. What we've not been able to deliver on, we explain the reasons why we've not been able to deliver on them, and then we plan for the next year.
Okay. Some might still not be aware that they have a role to play in the budget process. So what are you doing to ensure that they are aware of this and then they key into it?
Thank you. So I think, you know, publicity, we need to constantly let our citizens know, and you know, programs like this would help. You know, people are watching. You know, they will know that, you know, they are part of the budget process. You know, it is their budget. you know, and we need to ensure that we carry them along. So, you know, the consultative forums we're having for the next 2025 budget is starting next week, Tuesday, the 23rd. So, you know, we're going to go across all the 5 divisions. So hopefully, you know, we're going to make it as public as possible. We're going to have radio jingles. We're going to have adverts out saying, look, you know, come to these meetings and let us know, let us hear from you, and let us understand what it is you require so we can go back and plan. So as I said, it is their budget, you know, and Lagos is home to over 20+ million people. So we need to ensure that we try as much as possible to cater for all the needs and requirements.
Okay, Abimbola
That's a question.
has a question.
Yes.
As a follow-up to the question Joy asked, I know Mr. Governor also has the mantra that no one must be left
Left out,
behind in Lagos. And I know that the people sometimes have trust issues, not again wanting to believe that whatever they say can be taken over, their ideas could be bought over by government. What assurances are you giving to the people here that, you know, some of the things that they say are the things that you indeed do go back to put in the budget process?
Sorry, Abimbola, I want to add to that, especially the youth.
Oh, yes, young people.
Especially the young people.
Okay.
You have a vibrant community of young people.
I think that's probably one of the easiest questions for me to answer. So you see, you know, luckily for us, you know, as a state, you know, we tend to sort of, you know, stick to what we say we are going to do. I mean, with the youth, I mean, the Teams Plus agenda is now a plus. You know, the plus is no one is left behind. You know, youth empowerment, youth involvement, you know, gender equality. So, you know, recently Mr. Governor visited the NYSC camp, and, you know, he then said, you know, he was going to sort of build a permanent camp. So I think that itself speaks for the fact that, you know, it is something we take seriously. He takes it seriously. He listens to what the public want, the youth want, in this case, and we go back and we plan. So you can tie these things to various projects. You know, we have a Honorable Commissioner for Youth who's a youth himself, so, you know, he understands. So he's also putting the right people in the right positions to be able to sort of listen to what the people want in that segment and give proper feedback and advice.
So what are the main, you know, challenges the state government is facing when it comes to engaging, you know, citizens?
Well, for us, you know, I always say that we're hampered by our success. You know, so, you know, we're a state which is a subnational, but we take on a lot of what you'd find nationals doing. You know, so it's very, very. We know that we have a lot to do, but we don't rest on our oars. We continuously try and strive and make things better. So, you know, as you said, consultative forums like this help. You know, we need to be able to hear back from our people and say, look, this is what we're trying to do. I think also for people also to know that, you know, as government, we're trying our best, we're doing our best. It's not easy. We can't always do everything and get everything right, but at least, you know, we can try our best and we're accountable. And where we've not gotten it right, we listen, take the feedback, and we try and correct the process for the next year.
All right, I still want us to talk about the upcoming consultative forum. How can citizens participate? You've said it that it will be across the 5 divisions of the state.
Correct, yeah.
So for someone that cannot attend physically, is there a means for them to attend virtually?
Yes, I mean, I think what the way we work now, obviously, not everything has to be physical. So there are means for people to attend virtually. We have logon details. People can dial in, they can listen. We try as much as possible to have the forums in centrally located areas within the division, so people can come and join and interact. I mean, it's open to all. We don't have any restrictions. You come and we hope you express yourselves, and, you know, obviously we listen to you and we try as much as possible. Whatever we can't finish on that day, there's a feedback mechanism that's still open, so you can still contact us. It's not a one-day event.
I wanted to ask that those joining online, how do you get their input?
Oh, no, we can get you have links for you to be able to ask us questions. We then, you know, respond, and then it goes on long after the day. So you find that even after the day where we've had the forum in Epe, for instance, or Ikorodu, for instance, if there's things that still come up after that, you know, they still find ways to contact us, and we listen and we try and resolve the issues.
When I asked a question about the feedback impact on citizens, you only spoke about one sector. I'd like you to address how feedback mechanism has positively impacted on other sectors such as education, health, apart from transportation, which you mentioned earlier?
I mean, it affects all the sectors. So, for instance, I can talk about Agric. So, with Agric, we are, the Eco Cares, the Onje Eco initiative, which we launched, was very useful. The food banks were very useful, reached close to over 500,000 households. We're currently in the process of building one of the largest food and logistics hubs in Lagos. We're currently building 5 middle market hubs, markets within Lagos as well. With health, as I said, the Massey Street Hospital is coming up with various housing projects, so there are quite a lot of projects that, the state undertakes. And, these projects all come out as a result of, in different areas of the state, all the requirements, the transportations. We talked about transportation. We talked about the road, the Okwebi-Mende link bridge is close to 80% completion. There's a lot of regeneration going on in the Keja regeneration project. So there are quite a few projects that, cutting across all the sectors that we look at in housing as well. So it's, there's also a lot, going on in terms of what we do for social protection. So, we know that whilst all the heavy infrastructure is key and is important, we also know as a government that, within the last couple of years, we've had to ensure that, social protection is very important. We've been able to look after our citizens based on what's going on in the economy now. So we're not oblivious to that. So that is all taken into account in everything we do. And we find that for our budgeting process as well, with social inclusion is something that is highly, Mr. Governor has paid a lot of attention to. And in the coming budget, I suspect it will be the same as well.
Okay. So how do you rate the performance of this current year's budget?
We're half year, so we're doing a half year review. It's always difficult to try and score yourself. So I think when we get to the consultative forums, we'll hear what the people have to say. But I think we're on the right path. We've done okay. We've done well. I mean, this year's budget is tagged the budget of renewal. So so far so good. We're performing optimally.
Because a lot has changed since the time the budget was presented.
Yes. No, a lot has changed. But you see, I think with budgeting, you also have to envisage and you have to be nimble where you know that things will change. So I think it's all being within sustainability levels. So we are within our levels. We don't have any major concerns. Our revenues are doing well. Our projects are doing well. So we're hoping that, for us to be able to sort of perform optimally at this year's budget, I'm pretty optimistic that we'll be fine.
Okay, Abimbola again.
Right. So in previous consultative forums that you've had with the people, have you also gone to the level where you also make them realize that projects are prioritized? Because again, sometimes people expect that once they bring up what they need, it must be done immediately. But then that's why there's a budget. And so you can afford to carry over into another year. So how much of that belief do the people have in the ministry, and how much do you carry them along to make them realize that, yes, there are suggestions, but they may not be done immediately?
Okay, thank you. I think we have a very knowledgeable and informative people in our state. I mean, trust me, they do know, and they do ask questions, and they do tests. So we certainly have a lot of questions, a lot of feedback which we need to give. And I think our people realize that with the way the budgets are now and projects are done, I don't think they expect that. There's some projects that are completed, quicker. There's some projects that are within take a longer time, just based on the fact that there's heavy infrastructure there and all the what we need to do to get the project done. So I think our people are knowledgeable. They realize that, they know that if we're building a road, it may take us X amount of months to build the road based on various factors. Obviously the rains, the dry season. So I think they're knowledgeable and they're a lot more informed. And we try as much as possible to, when we have setbacks or things that have slowed us down, we inform, we let them know, and we do go back. So we don't leave projects uncompleted in Lagos State. We try as much as possible to ensure that all the projects we embark on are completed.
Okay.
Would be, do we also have in place portals or online engagement with the citizens, and so not necessarily wait until the consultative forums are here before the people can actually communicate with the ministry?
Yes, correct. I mean, it's not just only the ministry; it's the government as a whole. So we have a Citizens Gate platform which encourages citizens to go and voice their opinion and ask questions on various various things that may be bothering them. So we have that. But then also within the ministry, we have feedback processes where, you can come and inquire about projects that, are interested in. Also we have representatives. I mean, the House of Assembly represents each, their constituents that all represent across the state. So, they're also checks and balances to ensure that, we're doing what it is we're supposed to be doing. And so there are whole loads of checks and balances and reporting and feedback mechanisms that are put into the system to ensure that these things work.
Okay, we've been talking budget. I'm sure our viewers at home are thinking that, look, how do you even come about the budget in the first place? Just take us through it briefly.
Okay, so it's all. I mean, we have various ways we plan things. So, for instance, each budget is built on the preceding year's budget and what we've done. So we have projections. So we have a 3-year running forecast where we look at things. So we look at things for the next couple of years, and we extrapolate and say, look, this is where we see ourselves in the next couple of years. Obviously, there are a lot of macroeconomic indices and factors that change. The exchange rate last year is not the exchange rate now. The price of oil as well. So I think it's just taking into account all those things and being able to sort of be flexible, and you build that all into your model to know that you can maximize when you have this issue. So it's not an exact science, but it's just knowing that you need to be able to sort of be flexible. And the models are built such to sort of test and withstand, and you can flex them. And at any point in time, you would know what sort of indices and what sort of numbers you'd get.
Okay, so how does this yearly engagement with the people help the government in structuring a budget that will really cater for the people?
I think it helps because I think you'd find that I talked about social protection. So you'd find that, we've been very heavy on social protection this year. And, not to say that roads are not important, not to say heavy infrastructure is not important. They would come, they're ongoing, it's work in progress. But I think, you need to ensure that every year your budget takes into account what it is, the requirements of what's going on at that time and what is required for the citizens. So, so I think that's where the consultation forums come in play, and that's where hearing back from your people, as I said, what is needed in Ekpe is different from what is needed in Ikorodu, what's needed in Ikeja, in Badagry. So you need to also know that, and you need to prioritize and ensure that you take into account what their requirements are. Obviously, there's a general overview, a general master plan, which for the states, which you follow. But, I think also you need to be mindful of the fact that at times, certain things may change, and you need to be able to sort of adapt to that as well.
So in a year, every given year, how many times does the budget go through its performance review? And if you'd like to take us, I don't know if we've done any this year or the first quarter for this year, or maybe we'll start with, take us through how the budget review works before we take it from there.
So we're constantly reviewing, so we don't...
the performance.
The performance, no,
right.
we as the ministry have to, we look at our performance month in month, every month, but then having said so, we have the quarterly review and we have the media half-year review, which is general, which, we call all the MDAs, all the ministries, departments, agencies. We speak to them. We understand if there's been any challenges, why they've not been able to perform optimally, if there's anything we can do to help and understand their requirements. So, we have team peer reviews, which we constantly carry out. That is, on a monthly basis. But having said so, we have a quarterly review and we have a half-year review. So we don't get to a point where at half-year we notice that there are things that, have changed or we have any. So we're constantly checking out. It's an open feedback system where, MDAs, have to come back to us and say, look, these are the challenges they have in terms of being able to sort of access and utilize their budgets, and if there are ways we can help them, so we don't wait. So it's not that we wait till the middle of the year and then we notice this that people have not been able to perform optimally, no. So it's a constant review process.
So if you look at the budget of renewal, the 2024 budget renewal, first quarter of the year, how have you performed? If you're rating yourself.
Again, as I said, it's hard for me to rate myself. So I think I'll let Mr. Governor rate me. So but I think yes, the works would speak. But I think we've done pretty okay. I'm optimistic, and as I said, for us, the key is being able to sort of adapt, and the key is being able to know that you're within your levels and your sustainability levels. So we don't see or feel any major shocks or any root shocks. So I think we're fine.
Okay, my question is still about awareness,
Yes.
of carrying people along. How much is being put, yes, into making people aware of this consultative forum? How much is being put into awareness?
Thank you. I
Because
think
it is when you're aware that you know that there's a forum
Yeah, correct,
where
yeah.
they can be part of.
correct. I mean, we can always do better with awareness. To be honest with you, we try as much as possible. We try to be, but there's nothing. It's not you can't do too much in trying to make people aware that these forums exist or these channels of communication exist. So we do have the processes by which we go out. The websites are out there, and I think consultative forums have been going on for a while where, the people expect it and they know, once it's coming up to September, we start the process. So they know that from July to August we start to go around, we start to talk to them, we start holding consultative forums towards the end of July into August. Because we try as much as possible to ensure that as a state before the end of the year, at least, we know that our budget is ready, it's been presented, and it's been passed by the House, and it's been signed by Mr. Governor. So we try as much. We work within those timetables. So in terms of awareness, awareness, as you've said, is something we need to continuously work on. Is key. We're doing our best, but we continue. I mean, programs like this help because people would listen. They'd know that this process is starting, and we try as much as possible to push.
Okay, so there's something about the Lagos budget where the capital is usually more than the recurrent expenditure, which is contrary to what we have in other states. Why is this so?
I think it's a good thing. I think that shows the focus that we're working on projects and capital. Recurrent. We try as much as possible to always ensure that obviously our capital portion. We have a budget of 2.267 plus trillion for 2024, of which about 1.3 plus is it's on capex. Which is about 950 plus billion on recurrent. So it shows that these are projects we're trying to develop. So once you have a heavy spend on your capex, it's development. As a state, we have a lot of infrastructural needs which we need to fulfill. So I think the fact that our budget is skewed that way for us, for me, I think it's a good thing and a good thing for the citizens of Lagos. So.
Commissioner, I'm curious here. I know you're here and then you're very proud about the strides Lagos has made with her budget implementation. But if you were to take, a look at the implementation of budgets generally in Nigeria, many people look at the culture of corruption as one of the issues why budgets are poorly implemented. Are there known challenges to you why sometimes state or the federal government may not achieve a sizable amount of progress in its budget implementation?
Okay, so for me, I always say that, speaking about Lagos, for us in Lagos, we have, I believe we have fantastic people in Lagos who work within Lagos. But I think what we have that's better than that is we have fantastic institutions.
Okay.
So you find that these institutions we have in Lagos are such that they're built on solid foundations where, there are proper checks and balances all put in within the institution. So things, so despite who's there, people come and people go, but the institutions are there and they're built, so they continuously work.
Okay.
So I think those are one of the things that I must say that we have going for us in Lagos, and I think it's just to continuously build on that. And I think, going around and looking at other states, I think as a whole, we all develop, we all try, we all get better. So I think, I can't comment on other states' budgets, but for us in Lagos, I think it's something that we're proud of in terms of being able to sort of continuously build on the legacies that have been set and the foundation that have been set for us.
But are there things or factors that may, impede the success of a budget, especially in a state like Lagos, that is, if peradventure, if people do not do their own part of the deal?
Yes, there's expenditure and there's revenue. So we also have to ensure that we try as much as possible to hit our revenue targets. Taxes are important, but taxes we also ensure that there are ways we can sort of generate revenue, other ways we generate revenue within the state. So those are all important. And I think as a people now, we know that we need to be able to sort of be accountable, and this transparency is key. So when we go back and we give our budgets, we need to ensure that we can also go back and give good accounts. So when people would ask and say, look, what have you done with our tax tax naira. So, these projects have to show that, this is what we've done, this is how we've invested your money, this is how we've used your money. And then we also have to ensure that at any point in time, we can finance the budget, we can run the budget efficiently. So we need to ensure that we make the revenues for the parts we need to use to ensure that the budget is performing optimally. So those are the challenges you usually find. Your revenues, you need to ensure that you can and continuously push to make sure you hit your revenue targets, which we're doing.
Still talking about revenue, how important is it for people to pay their taxes?
It's very important. It's vital. But you see, I think, one thing I do know as Lagosians is that, Lagosians will pay for the service they receive when they see the service. So I think we're doing a good job now of being able to sort of let them see that we don't just talk the talk, we sort of walk the talk as well. So for a while we've been talking about the rail. The rail is here now. They can see the rail. Close to 10,000 people are going on the rail every day. So it's there. It's progress. So once people see and they see that as a government, we say we are going to do this, and we do it. I think they're more inclined to sort of pay the taxes they require.
So
they require
you
to
see
pay.
value for your money.
It is definitely value for money. That's the most important thing.
Data is also very key. And oftentimes, when you do not have accurate data, it could also pose a challenge when it comes to, making, for the success of any budget. So how much of this do we have a challenge with in Lagos?
Okay, so with data, Lagos, as I said, I alluded to the fact earlier that sometimes we're hampered by our success. So you see, with Lagos, we don't have any borders. We don't, people come into Lagos every day and they stay. Some people come, they don't leave. So, continuously, we know that our demographics change. So at any point in time, our numbers are constantly going up, and everyone that's coming into Lagos, we have to provide sanitation for them, security for them, housing for them. So we know that when we're doing our budgeting process, we also have to ensure that we take into account the demographic nature of the state. And we also know that it's a constantly changing demographic because of just the nature of the fact that, once there's prosperity, it tends to sort of attract migration, inward migration. So it is something that we're aware of, and I think it's something that we take into account when we're building our models and also building our budget.
Okay. We go on a short break.
Yeah, let's take a breather. All right, it is still the conversation here. We will take our Lagos sense, and when we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us.